Digital photography made simple.
Welcome to Digital 1-to-1. On this segment, we're going to show you how to use the landscape mode in our basic scene mode settings. Now, the nice thing about landscape mode is it allows our camera to obtain its maximum sharpness. It's easy to use, it helps you get out of the auto mode function, and on your way to becoming a creative photographer. The landscape mode is indicated by a symbol resembling a mountain-like graphic. It is also universal with most cameras today. Here's how our symbol looks. Take a look. Now, to get to our landscape scene mode setting, we're going to go to our dial on our camera, which is where you're usually going to find the auto and manual and program mode settings. You're going to look for something called scene. Now, on the dial, it's going to be the letters SCN. Remember, it's for the word scene, S-C-E-N-E, as a movie scene. But remember this, not all camera manufacturers put that setting in their basic scene mode settings. Some actually have a separate toggle dial physically on the camera, and you'll see a symbol which looks like a flower. Now, if you start to press that symbol, you'll see signs for shooting distances called close-up, normal, or what's called infinity. Now, it's the infinity setting, which has the same resembling symbol as landscape, that's going to be similar to our landscape setting. Now, if you have a camera with the infinity setting and landscape is not in the scene mode settings, you're going to want to put your camera on the infinity. So let's move on and work with our landscapes and infinity settings. Why do we want to be in landscape mode? When we put our camera in the landscape mode setting, we are setting our camera's focus to infinity, and the autofocus will now be locked in at infinity, or what professionally is known as the maximum focal length. Now, my partner Santino is going to give us a closer look and demonstrate how our landscape mode actually works.
Okay, here we are at the park and it's a beautiful day. We're going to set our camera to landscape mode, and we're going to point it towards the back there where the trees are and the fence. And remember, in landscape mode, that is our infinity focus. That means everything will be in focus on the background. But what happens if we want someone like Ken, I'm going to put him into the shot, in the foreground to be in sharp focus? With Ken in the foreground and our camera set to infinity in landscape mode, how do we keep both of them in focus? The trick to this is to focus lock 1/3 of the distance from where Ken is to the back fence, which is infinity. Now, that's how we're going to keep both Ken and the background in sharp focus. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about focus lock, we have a video on it. It will show you in detail how to do that. We're going to show you a diagram explaining exactly the distance between Ken, that 1/3, and the infinity point. And we're going to have a couple of shots for you to see to show you our results.
Now that we have a better understanding on the landscape mode setting and why we want to use it, Santino still has one great tip for us. So he's going to show us how we can actually keep that landscape mode setting on when we're inside. Take a look.
Another creative way to use our landscape mode is when we're photographing through windows or screens like we have here. Remember, in automatic mode, our camera is trying to focus both the foreground and the background, but in landscape mode, our camera is set to focus only on infinity, so anything in the foreground will seem to disappear. Now, there is a trick to this. Make sure when you're photographing through glass or a screen that you don't touch the surface. Just stay a little bit away from it and your results will be great. Take a look at these next two photos showing you our results, and hopefully it'll help you.
In our first image, our camera is set in the auto mode, and notice how the autofocus is set to sharpen what is most obvious in the foreground. In our second image, with the camera set to landscape mode or infinity, you'll see that the focal length concentrated on the distance or the infinity of our image and reduce the sharpness of the window screen.
As you can see from those two photographs, this is a great technique. Imagine being at a ballpark or photographing your kids and there's a fence in the way, or you're at the zoo or an aquarium. Now you know how to use the landscape mode and get great shots.
Now at Digital 1-to-1, we always say to keep your flash on all the time. But when shooting in front of a window or screen that close, and our flash is on, what's going to happen is the window or screen is going to bounce that light from the flash right back into our lens, and we're going to end up with an image that's way too bright. Most likely we're going to be deleting that. So here's a time when we actually say to turn your flash off. Not all camera manufacturers allow us to use the flash when we're in certain scene mode settings. Some actually disable the flash in landscape mode or other settings like it. Others actually let us keep the scene mode settings and the flash working together all the time. But the other thing we want you to know is if you have face detection and you're in the landscape mode setting, the face detection may actually be turned off at the same time. But here, we like you to be a little bit more imaginative because there's faces in landscape, so keep your eyes out for those anyway. But you know, all this information is good because when you're going out to purchase a new camera, understand the right questions to ask your dealer. Have him explain to you the variations that are given with each different camera, especially in the scene mode settings.
Hey, we encourage you to practice with this landscape mode, giving you the control to take better landscape pictures.
Hey, be a digital one-to-one photographer. Be a smart photographer. And for more tips like this, look forward to seeing us again here on Digital One-to-One.